All right, I've got some PC boards here that I've designed. I've found myself interested in all these new little displays, the SPI displays and I2C displays. They're always coming out with new ones, and I tried to make a board that was compatible with a bunch of them so I can develop code. I find myself all the time working on the fonts and the way it looks and everything, and I want to have the best display for a project, but I don't want to commit it yet to the project. And so I thought it'd be cool to have a board that kind of was a one-size-fits-all for display applications. And so what this board is, it can use an Arduino Nano, which you know is my favorite, but it can also use an ESP32 board, which is the dev board here. And you can load either the Arduino or load the ESP32, depending on, one's wider than the other, right? And then it has a bunch of displays. So it has different displays here, and there's 2 rows of connectors here, so you can plug in the connectors either in the top row or the bottom row. There are different pinouts for the different SPI, so these are SPI modules. And then over here I have a couple I2C modules. I have a regular one, and then this long horizontal one, but power and ground are actually reversed on the pinout of these things, so there's two different pinouts here. And so this would be where the long one would go, and then the bottom connector would be where this little one would go. And then connector displays like this has this, so it would go in the bottom of these 2 rows of connectors. It would go in the bottom one, and then you could develop everything. So here's some examples. Here's a board with a ESP32 dev card on it, and here's a 240 by 240 display, an IPS display. This is a really, really nice one. This one's pretty new. This is also a little IPS display. It's 160 by 80, and I have this one running with a Nano, and I have this one running with an ESP. So let's get power and ground over here, and let's power them up here. There we go. The connector was loose. Here, let's start it over. So this is a standard Adafruit demo program, and so it's going to run through all of the characters and graphics and stuff, and you can take a look at it. So gets to the end here. Okay, and so here's the Arduino, and I don't have any headers. I don't have any headers here. I think I can just get that one on, and let me hold this one on. And you can see it's running the same program. It's just a smaller display. And they're both pretty fast. I had a demo once before I showed you that the hardware SPI is the way to go. It speeds everything up. So these are both wired up to use the hardware SPI. And then the I2C would be the same. But yeah, there you go. Cute little board. I'll put a link down below where this is going to be on my shared site. And so if you want to grab one of these, there'll be a schematic there, and this is the Arduino, this is the ESP, and it actually has a jumper here. So up at the top of the board there's a jumper. You can either put it on 3.3 or 5, and that's just jumper here. So it either runs the display off of 5 volts or runs the display off of 3.3. So you can use that jumper there. It also has a series of resistors here that allow you to do resistive dividers to run 3.3 volt displays off of a 5 volt Arduino. And that's this area up here. The data comes in, and then you can divide it down by 2.2 to 3.3K, and you get the right voltages here to run the displays at 3.3. If you're going to use a native 5 volt with a 5 volt, then don't load these resistors. And then if you're going to use a 3.3 with a native 3.3, again, don't load these resistors. Just load these resistors. And on these two particular boards, I'm running them natively, and so the little resistors that I put down here, these are 1 ohm resistors, so they're basically shorting blocks. And then I did not load the top row of resistors there, so I just put in 1 ohm resistors, and probably would have worked fine with a 2.2 Ks, but thought that would be better. And yeah, there's different pinouts of displays. You can see there's 4 different pinouts here that the board handles. And then just for fun, I put in a couple switches in case you want to maybe have multiple menus or something that you want to scroll through. You can use these buttons, and they're wired into the microprocessors as well. So there you go. This board is called the display board, new for 2022. So this, like I said, this will be up on my share site, and take a look if you want. Yeah, it's a fun board. I like it.